What's up, family? Thanks for joining me today. Today I have a special video for you. What is wholesaling and what is wholesaling when it comes to real estate? Now, we've started covering how to acquire your first wholesale deal. However, we haven't touched on what is a wholesale deal. So let's jump right into explaining what is a wholesale deal and what is a wholesale deal when it comes to real estate. So to start off, if you're old enough to purchase something from the store, then 9 times out of 10, you've already been a part of a wholesale transaction in your lifetime. You just may have not been aware of it. To explain, now if you shop on sites like Fashion Nova or Amazon, especially during the COVID-19 times, you've definitely purchased something from a wholesaler. So for instance, due to shortages in things like hand sanitizer, people are now turning to Amazon to purchase hand sanitizer and toilet paper in bulk. The funny part is the people who they're buying the hand sanitizer and toilet paper from most likely originally purchased that from a Dollar Tree for $1. Now they're selling it on Amazon for maybe $10 or maybe $8. Either way, they're selling it at an 800 to a 900% markup, and they're making $8 to $9 profit. Now with wholesaling, there's not much of a difference when it comes to real estate, because what you'll do is actually get a property at, say, $1,000, and then you'll assign it to someone else for $10,000, and you'll make the difference, being $9,000 in that example. Now, what does that mean? And exactly what does assign mean? And how you make $9,000? What do all these things mean? I know it sounds, so out there, but let's actually show you what it means. Example, you'll be B. I'll refer to you as B, and the owner of the property will be called A, and the property address is 316 East 7th Street. So what happens in a wholesale transaction is B, you would actually go to A and say, hey, look, I rolled past the property on 316 East 7th Street and I want to purchase it, and I'd like to purchase it for $8,000. So once A says yes, then you guys will sign a purchase agreement that we've already went over that. If you haven't saw the purchase agreement video, make sure to click that right up in the corner. But once you guys sign the contract for $8,000, you agree to terms. So the terms of the agreement you will close by September 1st. So you'll actually purchase the property by September 1st to close it out, but you'll have a 15-day inspection period. Now, in a wholesale transaction, within this 15-day inspection period, once the seller signs the agreement, you will then find a end buyer, and that end buyer will be referred to as C. Now, in order to find the end buyer, you must market the property, or rather market the contract. Once you market the contract by letting people know you have a wholesale deal available at $24,000, that'll be your asking price, $24,000. They don't need to know how much you got it for. Once you let people know that this deal is available, the only reason you are able to do that is because of something called equitable interest. The meaning of equitable interest is an interest held by virtue of an equitable title, which is the title that indicates a beneficial interest in property that gives the holder the right to acquire formal legal title, which basically means equitable interest gives you the right to purchase the property. So what you're marketing here from the B2C transaction is the equitable interest, that right to purchase the property, not the actual property itself, which is very, very crucial to know and differentiate, because states are now starting to crack down on that. I know Ohio is, and a few other states are as well. So just know that anytime you're marketing the property, just market the equitable interest. So say you have a contract for sale or a deal for sale, not a property for sale, because you don't own the property. You own the right to purchase the property. That's crucial. Remember that. So what happens is, once you get a C to say, hey, look, B, I'm interested in walking through the property on 316 East 7th Street. I will be interested at $24,000 to go take a walkthrough. What you'll do is set up a walkthrough time with A to have C walk through the property. Now, what you'll tell A is that C is your contractor, your lender. Usually, in my experience, it's best to tell A that C is anything but your end buyer. You can even tell A that C is your partner. But A doesn't care that you're going to make X amount of money on this deal. A wants their $8,000. Now, once you tell A, or once A sees or knows that you're trying to make money off the deal, then it's a 50-50 chance that they're okay with it or they're not okay with it. I don't like chance. I like to control what I can control. And you can control this. You can control this. So this is my recommendation. Once you have C go through the property and they say, yes, I'll purchase the property, you'll come to an agreement of terms with C. Another thing I want you guys to notice is that your closing date for this B to C transaction is on August 28th, and this closing date is by September 1st. Reason for that is to give you time in case C backs out. Another thing that you will want to have in this purchase agreement with C is that they will have to put up $1,000 in earnest money. So I show you in the purchase agreement how to get away with not putting up earnest money on this A to B transaction. But on your C end buyer transaction, you want them to have the earnest money put up. Because say they back out. Now, if they decide to back out of this agreement, that'll stand for earnest. If they decide to back out of this agreement, what you can do is negotiate with your seller for an extension of contract, and you can incentivize them by taking this $1,000 earnest money that's non-refundable, Once you take that $1,000 non-refundable earnest money that's already been deposited in the title company, you can split that in half. Say to your seller, hey, look, I'll give you $500 if you can give me just another week, no inspection period, because you know you can sell the property at least $20,000. Just give me another week. I'll give you $500 and we'll get this closed out within the next, 5 to 7 business days. Now you have more time. But once everything goes well on August 28th, the day will look like. If you're enjoying this video, hit the like and subscribe button and follow me on Instagram at D1 Real Estate and Facebook at D'Angelo Simmons for any questions, comments, or feedback. Thank you for watching. You will do what's called a double closing. The reason for the double closing is A won't see how much you made on your HUD statement. They'll only see that you're purchasing the property at $8,000, as you guys previously discussed. And C, they won't know how much you made either. So they won't know that you made $16,000 on the day of closing. Now, a general rule that I go by is if I make over $7,000 on my closing, then I'm going to use a double close. I'm not going to do what's called an assignment of contract. An assignment of contract is a simpler version of a closing. What you would do in that case is actually assign this property to your end buyer. But what happens is you leave yourself open. So on an assignment of contract closing, A will be able to see that, for one, you're not actually purchasing the property, that C is purchasing the property, because their name will be on the HUD statement instead of your company or your name or your company. So once that happens, they may have questions. But once they see your name on the HUD statement, not on the buyer's side, not actually saying you're purchasing the property, they'll see it on the buyer's payment side. So it'll show that $16,000 is going out on the buyer side of the HUD to you, which is B. The seller is going to have a lot of questions considering you're making double what they're making that day. A lot of times this is a deal killer for a lot of people. So I urge you to make sure you follow this setup. So on the day of closing, C would wire $24,000 to your title company, whichever title company you use, and that'll be at, say, 10 a.m. So C has wired $24,000 into the title company by 10 a.m. A comes in, sign their contract or sign their deed, sign all the closing paperwork at 1 p.m. By 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, you'll have $16,000 wired into your account. That's a wholesale transaction, guys. I mean, I love it. I love this business so much. It allows you financial freedom, but it requires a lot of discipline, a lot of growth, and a lot of dedication. But I mean, when you're making $16,000 plus monthly, and this is just one deal, I mean, you just imagine. I'm pretty sure, if you just closed a $5,000 deal right now, that could probably be life-changing money. I know a $5,000 deal. I'm never beyond a $5,000 deal. I don't care how rich you are. $5,000 is still $5,000. So, is it worth it? You tell me, guys. But this is the setup. And this is very common in wholesaling to come across, 15,000 plus deals. All you got to do is be dedicated. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a comment if you got any questions. Until next time.